So like I said, I'm Bill Keene. I run actually 3 groups at Intercontinental Hotels Group. For those, I think everyone in the room probably knows a lot of our brands, but it's Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn Express, Crowne Plaza, Intercontinental, make up a total of 11 brands, adding a 12th soon this next coming year. I run our mobile channel, but I also run digital guest experiences at the hotels. And then I have a 3rd group called Applied Discovery. I don't call it innovation because then that means the brand teams call me all the time, and I don't want, I want to play with the new technologies that you guys play with, and that's the way I get around it, give it a different brand name. But I'm here just to share a little bit about the way we're kind of looking at the world right now and the way it'll impact the hotel and hospitality industry. So really, we're going through this evolution of we're had this always-on consumer, right? Back when Dell was there in the 90s, appropriately on a Dell computer, it was all about the desktop internet. And then really around 05, I know that they built a Palm OS in 2001, but really around 05 when smarter phones came around, we started to get browser-based solutions, and then really in 07 when the iPhone came out, and then in 08 when the App Store came out, we started to do a lot around the mobile internet. But we're now evolving into this world of sort of everything being connected. There was the wearable, which we can talk about. I'm surprised that didn't come up as a buzzword. That means it's already passed, right? It's not as popular as it used to be. But drivable internet, you'll see a lot out of Detroit, a lot around the connected cars. I always say there's more bandwidth in today's vehicle than we're in, that are in my car, that are in my house. But you'll see a lot of technologies coming out of Detroit there. But really, we're now moving into this idea of everything around us being connected. And certainly, the role that new modal interfaces play in how consumers will want to look or travel will be revealed to them based on things that are connected around them. So really, if you think about it, we're entering into new horizons now in the way that consumers interact with enterprises. Yeah, back in the 80s, a lot of it was really around, we all developed call centers, and it was really around print advertising and direct mail and yellow pages, and your affiliate partner wasn't, Kayak, it was, your AAA or ARP, you built triptychs, right? And then you used travel agents. They all still exist, but they've kind of dipped down. And then really you moved into kind of the web world, and search replaced advertising, and email replaced direct mail, and display replaced yellow page advertising. So you started to see this evolution. Old models evolved. They didn't die, they just evolved. And then you really, we're kind of right here now at this sort of tap interaction where your search is based on where you're standing now. You're not having to enter anything. Push notifications are now becoming the new email. Native, you'll see a lot about the way advertising and displays change to native ads. And social, your social network is now your affiliate. You're asking friends what you should do, and really around social search. But we're going to evolve to another step, really around talk, touch, and see. This is how we're kind of thinking about this Internet of Everything, where natural language, people will go back to not typing keywords anymore. They'll actually say what they want. And in that comes having to understand context. There'll be more connected devices, this Internet of Things, and actually asking Alexa, asking Google Home what you want to do. And messaging, what you're starting to see happening with Facebook Messenger and WeChat, it will become a new channel for consumers as they look for travel. So again, we can kind of call them new, but if you think about it, they're just really evolutions of experience sort of horizons that came before it. So really what do consumers want, and the way we think about this in hospitality is they really are looking for those that can stitch the entire experience together, right? Whether it's, I know even the way we do conferences in travel are interesting. We got a lot of the distribution and digital marketing folks here, and then at high tech, you got all the on-property people, right? But what consumers are looking for is people that can stitch the entire experience together. So that's how we're actually looking at, as we move into this new era, how do we let them plan and book, manage their arrival, manage the in-hotel and stay experience through everything connected through the Wi-Fi network to augmented experiences, and then eventually departure, and that cycle continues to grow, or just continues back through. So this is how we're really looking at it, is how do we stitch it all together and not just think about chunks of the journey. So I'll just give a couple of closing thoughts on where we think this is going for the hotel suppliers themselves. The first, and this is probably not one that gets discussed a lot, but there's going to be what you would call a digital transformation 2.0, I think, in most companies. Digital is no longer a department in a company, right? It's no longer just a channel in a company. It's actually interweaved in that entire experience, right? I think if you've worked on supplier side, digital usually meant e-commerce, but digital's actually bigger than that. And so you've got to start to interweave other metrics other than direct room night revenue. It's going to be about how does digital drive guest satisfaction through the entire journey. And then what you'll start to see also is what digital means varies by market, and it needs to be localized. And I'll talk about that here in a second. The second thing is, while much discussion is made about the big four, like who are going to be these emerging disruptors, I tried to come up with a new acronym for FANG, but Netflix really didn't play, and then I started to spell it out, and I said I don't want to spell out those in any kind of acronym. So Facebook, Google, Apple, and Amazon. There's a lot of talk about how they're going to disrupt travel distribution, but the fact of the matter is, if you go to like high tech, where it's predominantly about the property, they're already there. They're playing a critical role in the stay experience for us, whether that's hosting, whether that's what they're doing, helping us with natural language processing and deep learning. Amazon just told us they announced that they've got a hospitality division, but again, it's more focused on Alexa and AWS and not necessarily about how they're going to break into distribution, right? So they're in our industry already. They're just playing it from the service and guest experience side. And then last, we talk about is emerging market ecosystems are actually moving faster than what you see in the West. So for example, here's my day. I wake up early in the morning and I talk to, we've actually embedded a product team in China. Thank you. And their mobile is already bigger than desktop, right? It passed it a year ago for us. So it is huge. So they're not talking to me about, well, hey, we got to build a responsive design site. They're like, how can we push harder on mobile and mobile app, right? Credit and cashless commerce is commonplace. If you've ever been there and dealt with any folks in China, they don't pay each other in cash. They go through WeChat Pay, right? That's how they do person-to-person payment. That's also, Alipay is how they pay hotels, right? So again, this idea of Apple Pay, they've already done it. And it's very common there. And then last is, like, bots are normal. They're not emerging. If you've ever connected on WeChat, half of the interactions you get are automation with bots and artificial intelligence. So now they've had some inherent advantages in their, the way they're structured there, and we may talk about that, but it's already been stitched together. So what you're starting to see with like Facebook trying to do bots, it's already been done. And we have experiences there with what we've done with WeChat. So China will become increasingly, it's been knocked for copying a lot, but I think they've actually are leading in a lot of ways in trying to stitch these experiences together.
Excellent. Thanks, Bill.